Seems like a gentleman's agreement among most of the Grandmasters. So Temple Mage it is. If bloodyface does win this, it will come down to the Control Priest mirror. But he's got to get to that point first.
We can only hope, TJ, that we could be as lucky as to cast another Priest mirror here.
We get a Europe series today and a Priest mirror. How lucky are we, Dan?
Oh, yeah.
Hashtag blessed.
I'm paid by the Arcane Intellect, TJ. I'm not sure about you.
Solarian Primes for me, Dan.
Start things off with the Violet Spellwing, and not really too much to consider here, where you just pretty much play the curve against the Priest early on. Madame Lazul is often something that you play just as a Priest to look at the hand. Finds almost all the relevant cards here. You can plan around Devolving Missiles, Chenvala, and Mana Giant also being there.
I feel like it's going to be tough to get a Mana Giant down, right? It does give him information that the Shadow Word Death he's building. You know, what do I know, Dan? I guess he's got a Cobalt Spellkin.
Right.
But that's it.
He just knows that over time he's going to be able to play this Mana Giant and thinks about the tempo swing, which I think is right. Yeah, should be okay, because I think that if you kind of boil down to what this matchup can often get down to, which is that Mage and Priest are just constantly looking for tempo swings.
You don't pick the ones.
Very dramatic tempo swings.
On wings of destruction they come.
Problem with Cleric of Scales is that I always want all of them.
It's almost like you intentionally put these cards in your deck.
I know. Crazy thought, right? But when in doubt, Soul Mirror is the out. There you go.
Ooh, I like it, TJ. Are you challenging me to a rhyme off?
No. Absolutely not. I'm a follower, not a leader.
Color
Dan.
me disappointed.
I copy other people's rhymes. I don't make my own.
A simple spell.
Same with Hearthstone decks, actually, too.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, well, that's not too altogether different. I didn't want to say anything, but now that's out there.
No, I mean, it is like, you've seen the decks that I've created myself.
Yes, TJ Warrior. Oh, God, the days. Woo.
And that was the best
by
one.
The infamous Video Game Warrior. Or perhaps that was a Video Game Warrior all along.
Yeah, I was the OG Video Game Warrior, Dan.
Or perhaps Video Game Warrior was the friendships we've made along the journey. Alright, Devolving Missiles to stop the Cobalt Spellkin from being able to develop any further here. Ooh, that's convenient. 2 health. With the spell damage and the Raz.
I feel like bloodyface just run away with this game, but I'm pretty sure I said the same thing last game.
Where it was like, alright, well, tempo is pretty much established. This should be a pretty easy victory. And then chaos ensued. It's almost like Ben Lee heard you and said, you know what? Not yet.
What is a loon's will?
Not yet.
What do you even do? Like, I think at this point, you really need to try to consider shutting down this Raz, but there's no clean way to do it because you would have to kill off your own Pyromancer in the process. I guess the other clean way to do it would be to do Wild Pyromancer, Inner Fire, the Raz,
What is
and then
a
Shadow Word
loon's
Death.
will?
Okay. All right. Wow. You spotted that right as Muzzy spotted it. And that's a full clear. That's a nicely creative full clear there. It's a lot of resources used, but honestly, he's got a lot of resources in hand still, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yes, I agree. It doesn't seem to be that big of a thing. But the fact of the matter is that 13 HP, and bloodyface might have burn to end it.
You don't pick the
Doesn't play
one.
any bird naturally in the deck, though. Would have to find it, but does have Frostbolt, Arcane Missiles. It's not out of the realm of possibility here. But I wouldn't call it likely by any means. Muzzy does
Right.
have expensive ways to stabilize. He also has Ice Barrier, which is interesting.
What to
You know,
do,
even though
what
it
to
doesn't
do.
protect against burn damage,
Time runs out.
99.9% of the time, outside of straight up Slayer and Prime victories, Mage will have to connect at some point after this in order to actually deal the finishing damage. Alright, now Murazon picked up.
Okay. I mean, Murazon is just a reactive card. Doesn't actually... A lot of times it doesn't actually like address the board state from his opponent unless bloodyface was generous enough to play like Frost Nova.
Yeah. But, I mean,
So I'm
it's
thinking,
like a lot of times
just-
like a resource reload, right? You react to the board and then, you know, eventually the mage has to go for another refill turn. And if you've stabilized
What
enough, that's
is a
when you
loon's will?
go for the Murazon.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess from this position, I was thinking about if we can capitalize on Cabal Shadow Priest and like how greedy we can be for that, versus just playing it like Holy Smite and Cabal Shadow Priest in this position. But Muzzy, he wants to take it a little bit slower. Maybe it's his turn to Deathwing right back.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I like this play. It means that, you know, he's got Ice Barrier up so he can negate the damage on board. He's slightly playing for tempo because he has a 3/3 and a 2/2. He makes his Mana Giant cheaper, opens up opportunities for him. He made the best out of what seemed like an awkward hand, which I like.
Yeah, certainly an awkward situation for a lot
You
of
don't pick the ones.
the priests in a similar position like this, where you get behind, you take a lot of damage, you don't really have ways to respond to all these like small little things. And I think that's some of the downside of the control priest lists that have gravitated away from like AoE. And so in a way, they do it to themselves,
Runs
TJ.
out on me.
Those are like my 3 favorite mage cards.
Specifically those three.
Yeah, it's like a
Solarian. I
mage
thought that's what you got
spells.
paid by.
mage spells.
Oh. Primordial studies. That get you Astromancer Solarian.
All right, those 3 mage spells are definitely in my top 5 mage spells. That better?
Yes.
What is a loon's will?
Alright, Muzzy's in kind of a tough spot here. Still no direct answer outside of Solmir, and I think he would prefer not having to use it here. Just because he doesn't develop meaningfully on his side. He sticks a Wand Thief. And he knows about the side quests, so his opponent could just like redevelop that 6/6, and then he doesn't have an answer for it outside of the Deathwing. So what will Muzzy choose to do?
All right. Very small chance. Okay. Very small chance. All right.
True.
He's dead. he gave it a good shot, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you feel comfortable, I guess, parting ways there. Soul Mirror, but he hits like one of those spells on the Mana Giant, maybe, or clears off 2 minions from the other side of the board, maybe, or bloodyface completely whips on direct damage, maybe, but that's a very open play. And now, we get to watch
the main event.
Favorite matchup. Yeah, it's the main event.
It's the main event.
Those were all teasers. Yeah. Those were opening acts.
Yes.
Or
it is National Priest Mirror Day here at Hearthstone Grandmasters, and I don't know what else we were expecting here. Like we knew that Priest has been a deck that people are trying to beat, and it does seem like that's coming down to whose Priest deck is the weakest at this point, or the weak link. There are still a little bit differences. We do have the Shadow Word Deaths versus having like a Twilight Drake. And I think that the lack of a Twilight Drake does end up hurting bloodyface a little bit more in this matchup. But, with the generation and with the ability for lots of wild things to happen, we'll see. Like, Raised Deads do introduce this element of, like, how you choose to sequence your early game, and tempo could be the king as much of value as traditionally ruled this matchup.
Yeah. It's different than it once was, where you're not operating with the infinite resources that you used to be with the Galakron. So you can get out-tempoed a lot faster, but it doesn't mean the matchup is any less of a marathon, because for every match that one priest blows out the game with fast tempo, there's 10 matches where neither player can get a hold on the board.
Well, pretty straightforward mulligan from Muzzy. He likes a lot of his hand. No dragon, though, so the Draconic Studies will have to come first. Bloodyface finds... Okay, do you plan for Dragon Queen Alexstrasza in this matchup, TJ? Or can you
I mean,
plan,
Viper
maybe?
tried to do it earlier, and it didn't work out. But that was against Mage? I don't remember. It wasn't in a... Oh, no, it was. It was a Priest Mirror, actually. But he was playing against a Highlander Priest.
Right, Highlander Priest.
I don't think you have time. You have too many 2-ofs.
Okay, I'm inclined to agree. And the Brightwing pick instead. Seems like tempo is kind of the name of the game here for the players. Looks like they're leaning away from trying to go for high value picks, which I like. I think that the high value picks are oftentimes bait, because you get suckered into thinking, oh, if I just can have a little bit more mana, everything would be great. And that's a lie. You have to be able... Sorry, it was a little bit harsh. Some people are like, wait, what?
You're lying to yourself. You're living a lie.
Wings of destruction.
That's what you think.
That's right.
Dan said it.
That's right. You're a fraud. Turn in your badge. But yeah, it's definitely a misconception that I think a lot of people get suckered into, because they think, I have all this capability of be able to drag out the games. Like a Priest matchup takes forever, right? Like I should be able to get to that point. And that's not always true. So you have to be careful about, how you end up approaching this matchup, because you could easily lose that tempo battle, and then it gets way out of control.
Fire. I was gonna say Grave Rune is interesting because you can find some interesting scenarios, but I feel like a lot of times it all ends on one minion too much, that if it gets stolen, you regret it. Inner Fire is cheap cheap fodder for the Sethic Bellweaver while not like buffing up a minion so much to where if it gets Cabal Acolyte, Wave of Apathy, you don't instantly lose the game. Because Bloodyface right now, he'd be vulnerable to a steal, but he does not have one to be able to steal right back. So.
Well, this is already starting to get kind of intense with what could end up being the line that Bloodyface takes. If you choose to play it slow, he's ahead on board, but the steals, I mean, it's kind of brutal here. Oh no, he knows the coin. He sees the Cabal Acolyte. And just like that, he is played like the puppet he is. Tempo! I kind of imagine how the Cabal Acolyte does when he's pulling all of its strings. You're just a little marionette, Bloodyface. Dance for me.
And he's living a lie and is a fraud.
And don't forget, you're a fraud. But not really him. Bloodyface actually is quite really good. But all of you.
Yeah.
But seriously though, like in this position, like what do you do as Bloodyface? You have to expend your resources, and that's inefficient. That's kind of the big problem here of a lot of the scenario, right? Is that it's just really inefficient. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It's just, are you going to get outvalued simply because you take 3 cards to answer like 1, and your opponent's like, well, I'll just play like 1 card and keep draining your 3 cards.
Yeah, at a certain point, he's gonna have to like let crucial minions on the board live in order to try and gain more value from some of his cards. Because he could get he not only is he getting out tempo, but he could get outvalued if he just keeps going 1 for 1 like that.
Right.
But we'll see. There's, you know, so he plays Madame Azul here, picks up Soulmere. That could be a big resource. A lot of times you get later into the game, like when players are starting to develop big minions, big dragons.
This timeline.
The player who has the last Soulmere can sometimes run away with the game. It's not that simple, but it can come down to things like that. And this is kind of the turn I was talking about, where he doesn't have a good read on what Muzzy might have. The Chrono Breaker could end up clearing this board anyway. It's not this massive resource that he's holding on to that could gain so much more value than what it's gaining on the board at the moment.
Right. No, that's a good point.
Better than just healing and passing.
It definitely seems like this is one of those scenarios where okay, well, he's going to go with the apotheosis here, but like, I think Muzzy's just going to continue to squeeze Bloodyface little by little to the point where he can't really keep up anymore. A lot can change. First of all, Murazan can get incredible value still.
This timeline amuses me.
And Muzzy's able to win back some more tempo, gain that Chrono Breaker, summon out of the Mind Flayer. Bloodyface finds Shadow Word Death. That's not really useful here.
Nope. But it will find use, right?
Right.
Alright.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, he sees, like, all the power cards, except for the Lurker Below.
Yeah, Lurker Below is is certainly a power card.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
The card is scurry.
Wave of Apathy seems like just the best choice. It actually does have a good amount of flexibility, and it's got a lot of synergy as well with Soulmere, at least in some cases. Yeah, Lazul's scheme lets you target steal something with Cabal Acolyte, but it's not even that simple because there may be enough, like less than 2 attack being already on the board in that instance. So,
Right.
Wave Apathy seems like the best choice. Now Muzzy can discover the soul mirror that bloodyface just discovered. Nope. Murzon though, I'll take that. That's basically a soul mirror.
That Murzon is actually super good here. So now that he has Murzon, oh geez, now we're really getting into it, huh? So it doesn't seem like we're gonna get into the position where a player wins by snowballing tempo. It's gonna get to the position where a player plays Murzon, then they have to be mindful of Soul Mirror, which allows them to play Murzon of their Soul Mirror, and they can Soul Mirror to clear. And sometimes you can interrupt that with things like Wave of Apathy, which is what bloodyface has. And it gets all sorts of wild from this point on. Kind of the point that we're getting at is that the true battle has just begun, TJ.
We're still in Act 1.
Oh, this is the preamble, TJ. We rewrote and we're still stuck there.
Actually, we're still in England.
That's right. The revolution hasn't happened yet. I mean,
we've yet to be approached by the king.
America started and we were still in England.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So it begins.
Here we go. So the Soul Mirror first. Cleric of Scales.
First of many.
Finds the Soul Mirror. I mean, it makes sense given that the opponent just saw you play Soul Mirror, so they're less likely to know that you play Soul Mirror because you have a Soul Mirror in your hand now.
Yep.
They'll never suspect that Soul Mirror.
And
What is a loon's will?
also has the information that his Chrono Breaker will activate.
Okay.
Draconic Studies is good because it just provides a threat, right?
Right.
Wave of Apathy is also, like I mentioned earlier, just an overall good card in the matchup. It can buy you an entire turn. It can help you steal with Cabal Shadow Priest, Cabal Acolyte. A lot that it allows you to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of flexibility for sure. Doesn't it just going for the Chrono Breaker and hero powering? I guess there's no rush right now, which I think is correct. There really is no rush currently going on at the moment. And I think that bloodyface has to prove that he can actually just fight back onto the board. Plus, the weaker of a plays that he makes, the weaker bloodyface's response cards will be as well, which is always convenient.
What is a loon's will?
Both hands are looking strikingly similar.
Yes. It's a soul mirror of themselves. Which doesn't even really make sense, but...
Nothing makes sense anymore, Dan. Hearthstone stopped making sense after the tempo pitch games we've seen already today.
It definitely got kind of chaotic, that's for sure.
Yeah. Alright, Murzon. I was going to say, one trap I feel like I see players falling into a lot when like these mirrors is being greedy with Murzon. Especially in a case like this where he got that Murzon from bloodyface, so he knows there's a Murzon back, so he doesn't want to play the Murzon for too much value.
Right.
or doesn't necessarily want to wait too long to play Murzon, because it just means that he'll have to be the one responding to bloody faces, which you don't want to be playing on the back foot. You don't want to be spending your whole turn reacting. You want to react and also develop to keep pace. That's exactly what Muzzy did.
Right, and that makes sense too, given that kind of the way the pace is being played here is you don't want to extend. Not that that could be a thing with this other Murzon.
Just like, all right, mind vision last. Oh, another Murzon.
Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy.
He just looks at his hand. I have 1 mana left. What can I do?
What is a loon's
How about
will?
another Murzon?
Oh, so Muzzy has 2
Never
soul
enough.
mirrors in a Murzon. Bloodyface has 1 soul mirror in a Murzon. Using advanced forms of trigonometry that very little people know in the world, I can determine that
What is a
Muzzy has a significantly...
I mean, Muzzy is a big fan of math and geometry, from what I heard.
You think this is your time? It is mine.
Geometry is a weird one.
I mean, like a weird subject, or
A weird, if you're going to pick a form of mathematics to enjoy leisurely, geometry's
what
the
is a loon's
the
will?
hardest one for me to wrap my brain around.
got it.
It's, unless you like construction.
I mean, geometry seems it was always definitely one of my weakest subjects, that's for sure. But then again, so was math, and yet I cast Hearthstone. So, Muzzy does have the ability. I know enough math that 8/8s can kill 8/8s here. So then the question becomes, what's the best possible value play? Because right now we're getting to the point where Bloodyface has 3 soul mirrors.
What is a loon's will?
And what's like so? Okay, at this point, you think about what's the minimal amount of investment that you can do, and this is pretty minimal. 1 Aeon Reaver, kill your opponent's Murzon, and go face.
Yep.
He could play the evasive Feywing, but that's a little bit more extension,
I wonder.
which I guess he's okay with since he has such a big hand and Murzon.
I feel like at a certain point in this game, both players are going to be completely out of minions. And they're just going to have soul mirrors in their hand. And then what happens?
A simple spell.
Oh. And then they win because they can neither win nor lose. Or rather, they stay in Grandmasters forever. That's Bloodyface's plan. See, he can't relegate if this match never ends. Right?
Yeah.
How do you relegate if this game continues on for eternity?
And Muzzy's just sitting there thinking, I like shapes.
I like faith. I really like numbers. Numbers go up and down, and sometimes
I
stay
really
the same.
like shapes that are quantified in numbers.
Oh
I like
my
to
gosh.
partake in my spare time, looking at shapes, turning them into numbers.
Oh jeez.
Oh, I was expecting another mind vision there. Then both players could have 3 soul mirrors. Just seems like one of those games.
It definitely does. We're definitely in some weird territory at the moment.
Yeah, see?
So for people who are
Bloodyface out of
just
minions.
tuning in, kind of wondering what's happening in Grandmasters, you may have tuned in yesterday where this Priest Mirror had started. And Bloodyface right now is still in the point of the standings where he's 2-3. and really needs to win. And if he loses this game, he loses this series, he is down at 2-4 in his overall record, which puts him in the high likelihood that he's in a relegation bracket spot. Muzzy already has kind of booked a playoff spot with his 4-1 start, but he could go even further beyond and try to get a top seed, which will help him in the playoffs even further. And now bloodyface trying to hang on for dear life. But he's got nothing proactive, DJ. He's only got reactive cards. And in these kinds of scenarios...
Holy moly. Alright, how many 2-ofs does he
more
have
value.
Left? He actually only has 2 2-ofs left in his deck. He has double renew, double raise dead.
I wonder.
So we're pretty close to Dragon Queen Alexstrasza, but you know that theoretically could be a long ways off.
Right.
If you know 1 copy of renew, 1 copy of raise dead are 4 or 5 cards deep. That's not that threatening.
Yeah. I mean, these aren't super big minions. Bloodyface still picks up just another reactive spell. He has
6
no
out of his 10
actual
cards
minions
are
that he can
Solmir
play.
or Wave of Apathy.
I wonder.
He just legitimately has nothing to do this turn. What a silly game unveiling before our eyes right now. There's just
I wonder.
Can't win, can't lose.
I mean, you have to part ways with something here. Like one of these spells you have to part ways with. One of the big spells, I mean. I just don't feel like you can sit back and say, yeah, I can get greedy with these 3 Soul Mirrors and these 3 Wave of Apathy.
Right.
You gotta just do it.
Agree. I think that you gotta do something. You can't spend your hand doing nothing, largely because that's not how this match was won. The fatigue battle is very even, so you don't even have that advantage. So things are looking pretty awkward. Muzzy goes for the heal immediately, can just play. So Muzzy has the opposite problem. He's got all proactive threats. So we start with the first Murazon that he got off the Mind Vision.
Oh.
Misses the sequence on getting the extra minion on board.
Yeah, but overall...
And bloodyface draws another reactive card.
Alright. So, 1, 2, 3. Every single card left in Bloodyface's deck is a minion. Except for 2 Raised Deads. Which are also minions.
Oh, TJ, no! You just cursed him!
He's got
Just
11 cards in his
spell.
deck. They are all minions except for the 2 Raised Dead, which generate minions. What? Cabal Shadow Priest, Cabal Spellkin, 2 Cabal Acolytes, Mind Flayer, Wild Pyroseptic Veilweaver, double Wand Maker, and double Raised Dead. What in the world is happening?
I don't know. This one is
almost every spell in his deck. That's every reactive spell. That's all of them. Every single one.
That's right.
What is a loon's will?
I mean, yes, he did draw every reactive spell, but almost all of them are reactive. The deck is mainly reactive spells anyways, and a few proactive cards, but it is extremely unfortunate that it ended up this way. And my heart does go out to bloodyface. Whew.
On wings of destruction they come.
I don't know what you're supposed to do here, because it doesn't seem like the game really wants to give you things to do. Muzzy looks at what spells that he could get, and all of them seem entirely reasonable. You can renew to heal your minion and keep the board tempo up. Finds Raise Dead for even more value. Why not?
It's so funny. Like, Muzzy's struggling to get rid of all the value that he's generating.
I know.
He's like, man,
Actually,
I really
quite
about hand
sad
space here.
to see such a one-sided like value affair here. It's like the amount that bloodyface is just trying to hold on here is definitely noble, but it's looking very much like he can't do anything else here in this spot.
Yeah, this is a weird game. It's like, wow, what a one-sided priest mirror. Hour and a half later, wow, that was a stomp.
Yeah, he's still not even close. Okay, he finally picks up a minion. Cabal Shadow Priest. What can we do with this? Like, Muzzy's done a great job of just being annoying enough that, like, this isn't actually super threatening. But annoying enough that you kind of got to do something about it.
Yeah. I don't even know if you use the Cabal Shadow Priest here, because it's just, it's too low value. Maybe you just Wave of Apathy, heal, pass. He needs a decisive swing. He can't just keep, draw a card off the top, use it to take a minion. Draw a card off the top, use it to take a minion.
Right.
It's like exactly what Muzzy wants.
I wonder.
That is exactly what Muzzy wants, and now he's going to go ahead and just take the minion anyways. Try to make best of a very unfortunate and awkward situation here. Wave of Apathy drawn right back, and finally Muzzy can start to play some of his cards right back, right? Like Cabal Acolyte could be played, and he can start initiating a tempo battle that he's very far ahead in. So that's one option.
I wonder.
Definitely in favor of that. Another one that he could go for is playing the Lurker below, just kind of using it to remove the board and establish his board presence even further.
Yeah. I don't want to make a more aggressive push with this many resources. Dragon Queen Alexstrasza active.
Right.
But there's like a timing window. You need to make sure that you have enough threats to.
Ooh. Okay, Shadow Madness. Trade.
All right.
Kill. Push. I like it. Pretty clever.
Yeah. Take it. Dumps a couple cards.
Bloodyface finds the Cabal Acolyte, and Cabal Acolyte can only steal a 1/1 right now.
Yeah, I think he's Soul Mirror here. Fresh board. Once he plays one big minion next turn, you get to take it.
What is a loon's will?
Yeah, trying to evaluate the Cobalt Acolyte, and if there's much we can do, I think Soul Mirror has to be played. There's just too much pressure. There's 13 power on board right now. This makes sense. And Bloodyface concludes Act 1 with a Soul Mirror that he got from his deck. Now Muzzy can start playing proactively Alexstrasza, so in his mind, he thinks that there might not actually be an opportunity to respond to this.
even more value with Skeletal Dragon being one of the cards he picks up from Dragon Queen Alexstrasza.
Right.
Ooh. All right. So even more. Well, Raised Dead is finally something, right? This is a burst of value, which is had to be what Bloodyface is waiting for.
Your mind is.
I guess he wants to go for the steal first.
Yeah.
He has to bet big against the Alexstrasza. Finds the Alexstrasza. All right.
Okay.
You can pass.
Oh, no Raised Dead yet, because when this Alexstrasza dies, he can Raised Dead and get it.
I like it. I like it.
He still has duplicates left in the deck, though. Wait, what? My track.
Let me change your mind.
Yeah. He has 2 Wand Makers left. Those are his duplicates.
Yeah, and the steal right back here just kind of introduces that element where like Bloodyface could still Soul Mirror and get that Dragon Queen in his death pool. But now we're kind of seeing the payoffs, right? The early seeds that were sowed and now they're being reaped is just a sheer lack of actual power behind Bloodyface's hand.
It's just a whole lot of nothing.
What is a loon's will?
It was just way too reactive for way too long, and you know, maybe we didn't see the effects of it right away, just because you know the priest on the other side takes a long time to win. But I mean, you can kind of see it now where it feels like every time Bloodyface has like this good turn, Muzzy has a great answer to it, and also development. Well, he still has 2 Soul Mirrors.
Yes.
And it sounds like Muzzy doesn't even have value in his deck. He still has Draconic Studies, a Wand Maker, a Cobalt Spellkin. He still got some gas.
A simple spell.
He's got a lot of gas.
Your mind is not your own.
Here we go, another steal attempt.
Dance, puppet. Dance.
And Muzzy can continue to play musical minions with his own Cabal Acolyte. Muzzy draws the Draconic Studies. Draconic Studies, I don't really think needs to be played here.
Oh.
Okay, Murzon will summon a Cabal Acolyte, Cobalt Spellkin.
And it will cast.
Then he can play a spell, steal a minion.
This is your time. It is mine.
A simple spell.
Oh, and Raised Dead.
For an evasive
Evasive
worm.
worm.
Your mind is not your own.
Okay, so now he can like renew? Circle of Healing, just to dump a card?
Yeah. I don't know if he necessarily cares about overdrawing.
That's true.
This
He's in
case.
such a good position, and Plague of Death is very powerful. Okay.
Yeah. Now he's out of Wave of Apathies. Most likely about to be out of Soul Mirrors.
I wonder.
Soul Mirror isn't even that good because he can't even trade his minions in. He can only trade 1. He's not even getting full value from it. You'd have to like Holy Smite his own minion.
Right, or like preemptively trade, which wouldn't be nice, or just wouldn't feel good.
Well, even if he preemptively trades, he can only kill 1 off.
I mean, I think you still got to go for it, though.
Yeah, I suppose.
What's more important is improving his death pool for the raised dead, because I think that's the only way Bloody Face has a chance. I think now we're starting to actually get to the point where this is like very serious. Oh, he has Chrono Breaker. He can clear off.
Oh yeah, the Chrono Break. Yeah, Chrono Breaker activating off itself. I don't know.
All right. Finds Murazan.
Okay, so I mean,
wow, he's starting to get on board.
Finally,
the first time we've seen him.
Jeez,
like, yeah, the first time this hour he actually has been ahead on board. He's actually just been behind for like 25 minutes.
Ooh, Nozdormu. Yeah. Make him sweat.
That's right.
Speed up the pace.
I mean, Nozdormu would very much be a counter to some of the playstyles of Grandmasters, that's for sure. But in these very complicated, like, very long and War of Attrition style priest mirrors,
You think this is your
that Nozdormu could be very impactful. Muzzy kind of laughing at the Murazan, which got generated off the raised dead. And the evasive worm doesn't have the ability to kill a skeletal dragon because it doesn't have enough power on it yet. The dragons, the big ol' whelp is not actually good because it accelerates Bloody Face's fatigue plan. Finds a Nozdormu himself. Arguably the better Nozdormu.
Yeah. In this case, probably just because it's so much cheaper. I don't know though. That like when you're in these types of battles, like having less time to think about your turns can be a detriment. And Muzzy has the advantage of, okay, I'll think about my next couple turns. Then I'll slam Nozdormu at the end of my turn and turn really quickly and not give Bloody Face time to react.
All right, another mirror. Another 2 dragons. Finds evasive Draconid and the evasive Feywing. Bloody Face finds the Wand Maker. Okay, Wild Pyromancer gives Bloody Face an opportunity to utilize the Apotheosis and rebounded life total, so we could Wild Pyromancer, Apotheosis, Holy Smite, and that should clear off 2 of these minions. I guess the issue is that he's not clearing everything guaranteed. I guess he could if he uses all of his cheap spells.
Yeah. I'm worried, like, what an aggressive expenditure of resources will do to his ability to react to what Muzzy's planning for the next couple of turns. But honestly, you know, Bloody Face has been kind of had this awkward situation where he just hasn't had a choice for what he's doing to react unless he wants to fall really far behind on the board. So.
Right. Definitely awkward here. And you can kind of see that Bloody Face is just running out. Alright, 1 less dragon to deal with, but, I mean, problem still persists once Muzzy just starts to extend onto the board again.
Your mind is not your own.
Yep. Now he's starting. It's that time of the matchup where one player is just really starting to run out of resources, out of reactive tools, and just overall in a terrible position.
Yes, It is very
Yikes.
much that part of the game here.
Big ol' Whelp is kind of terrible.
Yeah, Big Ol' Whelp is awful in this spot.
All these cards are terrible. Wandmaker, Sethic, Veilweaver, you know, they could tag team this situation, though. Just pop off right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not seeing a way. Taking a look at the remaining cards, Bloodyface has Wandmaker, Mind Flayer, and Cobalt Spellkin, so it does have some extra generation left. Muzzy's last cards, I believe, Ray's dead, Wandmaker, and Cobalt Spellkin himself.
I'm searching for any kind of series of outs here that Wandmaker can do. But unless Wandmaker gives Bloodyface a 1-mana spell that disconnects Muzzy's internet, I don't think that this works out for him.
I don't think that one exists.
They haven't patched that in yet, huh?
No. That would be quickly nerfed. To increase your opponent's latency to 200 ms. Just to make their turn slightly more annoying for the rest of the game.
Yes.
Throttle
I mean,
your
some people
opponent's
do
ISP.
consider it to be unplayable when it gets to that state, so...
Yeah, not so much Hearthstone, but any other game.
What is a
Video
Also, maybe in
games.
Battlegrounds, I don't know.
Yeah. When you play Dancing Daryl, that's for sure. Okay, so... The Wave of Apathy here, very good for the trades.
Yeah.
The Embalming Ritual, you've seen the Cabal Acolytes. You've seen the Cabal Acolytes. Okay, he's choosing not to. I guess only because he wants to pick up that trade. There's no need for him. There's no onus on Muzzy to present any possibility that Bloodyface can come back here by giving value to him. Ooh!
All right.
Mind Vision. Okay, so Mind Vision can give Bloodyface Plague of Death. Well, I don't know.
Yes.
I actually don't really know what he really wants here.
Maybe Soul Mirror? I don't know. Like, Soul Mirror has the higher upside, I guess, because sometimes you can stick a board and fight back with it. Just as we kind of saw earlier, but... I don't even know if Plague of Death is the card that you want. Maybe Zeraku?
Right.
No. You have to take board before that.
Ah, jeez. Looks for spells, finds Unsleeping Soul, which will give him another card. You could use it just on your Cobalt Spellkin. And Mind Vision to go infinite with your opponent's Mind Vision. Okay.
I mean, Holy Smite is one of the best ones that he can pick up. I guess second Septic Weaver. But
Right.
Holy Smite allows him to pick off the board.
Your mind is not your own.
Bloodyface on his last legs here. And Muzzy picking apart all of this without even using too many resources, like one of his big Plague of Death or Soul Mirrors.
I am almost out of cards.
Wow. Muzzy kind of shaking his head because he just recognizes just how much crazy value he's gotten in this game. Just like, he just can't even spend it all.
Nope.
Can't even spend it all.
I mean, in a lot of scenarios, that'd be good. But in this one, it's just not nearly enough. Oh yeah, also, Muzzy took Thought Steal when Bloodyface only has one card left in his deck. I guess he was running out of time. I don't know if he actively selected it or if Rope just burned him out.
just don't even understand. What do you even need thoughts to? Ah, jeez. Okay. Grapefruit. All right, here we go. The value.
That's a full clear.
Yep. And he summons back 4/5s.
Wait a second.
I am out of cards.
Wanna interfire that?
Mind control. Okay. Well, yeah, you gotta thought steal now, or you're not gonna get any cards, DJ. You're missing out on the value.
Yeah, why would you take it if you're not going to use it in the perfect situation to use it?
You get exactly the card that you could predict. Oh, bloody face! If only you knew the rest of Muzzy's hand. Wow, this Chrono Breaker's really going in.
At least Bloody Face is one turn ahead for fatigue.
It's true. Bloodyface is about to have the only lead that he'll have in the life total for the entire game here. Because when it passes back, Muzzy will take 1, and Bloodyface will be at 30 still.
Hey, it's the small victories.
What is a loon's
Agreed.
will?
And that's why I think I like this Evasive Draconair. That's a big boy.
What's even the scenario where looking at your hand as Bloody Face, you're like, this line wins me the game.
Your feeble magic.
This one right here. I agree. A lot of this looks very sketch. Bloodyface sees the Dragon Queen Alexstrasza.
Worm, it's so good. Okay, at least he picked a big old whelp that's unplayable. And
I mean, yeah.
like maybe, all right, maybe he picks up like 2 almost unplayable dragons there, like double big old whelp, right? He can mind control the Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. It has an evasive dragon at all. All right, then Muzzy just Plague of Deaths. Starts over. And then plays his own evasive dragon in. I don't know.
What is a loon's will?
I mean, does he? He doesn't have to. He can just load up pressure onto the board.
Big old whelp to take another point at the team.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, yes. And then you raised it as well.
Yeah, and Ray's dead. Yes, I actually like this. But it's only because we know it's in the hand. Muzzy has to be careful not to overextend here because Bloodyface, very slight possibility.
Well, he should know generally what's in hand, right? He knows what the last 2 cards are. The cards that just have been played by Bloodyface that are in his deck. Cobalt Smoking.
Right.
Then he knows the last one is a random dragon.
Wave of Apathy. Inner Fire.
He's dead. He's real.
That's
he's
it.
Just real dead. I mean, he could technically stay alive on board if he goes heal his own face, kill a 6/6. He goes up to 24. There's 20 damage on board, and he takes 2 fatigue.
Yeah, I don't really see any kind of way for him to get out of here. I think Bloodyface is dead. Maybe in some really weird world he could Mind Flayer and kill his own mind flare. Like you could do it on the evasive worm, for example.
Oh no, you do it on the Zeraku, so then if Muzzy doesn't have lethal, he doesn't want to attack face, but then he just never has to attack face he wants.
Right.
Oh, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Also, if he doesn't heal his face, he dies. So he needed to heal his own face. Because there's 20 on board, and he takes 2 fatigue.
Right. Yes.
So there wasn't even a way to do that.
Well, Muzzy just plays a taunt here, right? And trades onto the board?
I wonder.
Mapping out all the
face Plague of
scenarios.
Death?
Yeah, I like the evasive Draconid. Trade down a bunch of the stuff. And wait for bloodyface to accept his fate, because right now bloodyface is going to 2 and 4.
Yep.
Okay, well that's going to do it here. Bloodyface tried to hang in as long as possible, but it does seem that our initial prediction of leaning towards Muzzy's pre-stack did end up ringing true, but not necessarily because of any tech differences like a Twilight Drake or an extra Shadow Word Death. It was largely just due to the sheer amount of value that Muzzy was able to get, and he navigated it excellently, understanding that he didn't have to overextend, and he even had more gas to go beyond that. So with that, Muzzy, the only player to be 5 wins and 1 loss in all of Americas.
Yeah.
And you can see that he's
able to
really enjoying that he has secured the #1 spot, I think.
Yeah, secured the #1 spot in Division A. Technically, ETC and Frozen, I believe, can still get 5 wins, but nobody in Division A can get 5 wins. No Hands is finished. He has 4. Everybody else that has 1 match remaining has 3 or less. So secures #1 seed, Division A. Very nicely done by the Muzz. And having after kind of some rough seasons, honestly, Muzzy's been consistently middle of the pack since he's been in Grandmasters, even sometimes dipping down towards the lower end. So it's kind of cool to see him back on top. You know, I always love me some Muzzy pop-offs, and I feel like this season we've gotten to see way more than we have in previous seasons. Yeah, so ETC Frozen could still finish at 5-2, but Muzzy could even finish 6-1. His final match will be against Killin' All Day tomorrow. So that will be a big one for Killin' All Day to try and avoid the meat of Division A. Still a lot of